Hello everyone, welcome into the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton, alongside George O'Gorman, Mike Samsel with you. George, Friday night, great one. We lead off with Lenape and Allentown. You were there on Friday night, as good as advertised.
It was very good, and unfortunately for the Redbirds, hey, they hung with Lenape, both teams coming in undefeated, and actually they had a chance to win that game. They had pinned Lenape down, held them. Lenape got off a 10-yard, 15-yard punt. So Allentown starts that final drive with the final 2 minutes, like inside the 20.
Right.
They get down, they complete a pass, they get down to inside the 5. 2 runs, they don't get in. And, it's unfortunate for the Redbirds. They had a chance for a huge win there, a statement win, really. It could have been, because some people think Lenape may be, one of the top 5 teams in all of South Jersey.
Right. Maybe
the best team in Burlington County. And the Redbirds got turned away. But, there's still a chance, the way things happen. They get Rancocas Valley at home in a couple of weeks. And I think with the defense that the Redbirds played, Jay Graber will come up with a scheme to shut down RV, and then RV still got to play Lenape. So RV loses to Allentown, beats Lenape, and could be a tie in that division.
Yeah.
But a lot of things still to go.
A couple other close games this weekend. Princeton moved to 5-0 with a 28-14 victory over the Steiner Spartans. That was a nice win for Princeton. And again, George, we were kind of just looking ahead at the schedule a little bit here. Tigers could be looking at 8-0 before they take on West Windsor Plainsboro North.
Yeah, they very well could be. They have
Winslow Township.
No, don't know much about Winslow. They're pretty deep in South Jersey.
Right.
But hey, Jolly Gallagher's kids just keep rising to the occasion. Steiner came back at the end of the first half and got to within a touchdown, and then Princeton pulled away. And again, Smallsman and Beamer and Hellstrom, they got a lot of guys. Some of their really, well, let's face it, their starters are doing an excellent job. Unfortunately, if anything happens to those kids, they really don't have much of a depth.
Right.
So we'll see how, this is a big road test for Princeton, because they're going out of the county. They're going Winslow Township. I don't even know. I know it's in South Jersey. I guess it may be in Gloucester County.
I believe so.
So that could be a big test for Princeton. And again, this brings up my, this, I don't know what the word is, but I'm not happy at all with this WJFL.
Right.
I mean, it's creating rivalries, or not even rivalries. It's creating games that really there doesn't seem to be any interest in. All right, RV and Lenape and Cinnaminson, they pair these teams off by group sizes. Look at Robbinsville. Yeah. Robbinsville, through its whole 9-game schedule, plays 2 teams in Mercer County. What does that do for the rivalries between the Robbinsville fans and, they don't get to see anybody. They don't even get to see Steiner. Now, granted, Steiner, it's bigger, but they don't even get to see Steiner, which is 2 miles away.
Right.
And I don't know. I don't like this. But I've been against this WJFL ever since it started. And the administrators who approved it, it's only for football. Fortunately, it doesn't affect rivalries in baseball or basketball or soccer. But, here's another example. Princeton going down to Winslow.
Right.
I couldn't tell you anything. If you told me you give me $1,000 about Winslow, I couldn't even name the county they're in. All I could say is they're in Winslow Township, wherever that is.
Another good game over the weekend saw Trenton 31, Notre Dame 21. Irish struggling now, falling to 1-4, and still no real respite coming. West Windsor Plainsboro North this weekend. Could be a long.
They can throw the ball too.
Yeah.
West Windsor North can throw the ball, and it's getting tougher for Chappie Moore and the Irish. They've only won 1 game. They lost their last 3 in the 2013 season.
Right.
And they've won, one of the first 5 this season? Probably the longest streak without 2 wins that Chappie has gone through in his entire career, and he's been coaching. Well, he came to Notre Dame around '76.
Right.
Prior to that, had won championships in the Philadelphia Catholic League. This is a brutal stretch for Chappie and the Irish, but they've got to bull their necks, as they say, and try to get back on a win streak, start a win streak, not even get back on one.
George and I will recap the rest of the results from last week right after this. You're watching the Mercer County Football Show on WBCB1490.com, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center.
Discover the dealer for the people, Haldeman Ford Subaru, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. One of the region's finest state-of-the-art service facilities for all makes and models. A service facility so good, local school districts get their buses serviced at Haldeman. Police fleets, local municipalities get their cars and trucks serviced at Haldeman. From oil changes to tire sales, Haldeman Ford services all makes and models. And they offer tires for just $10 over cost on name brand tires like Goodyear and Pirelli. And their waiting room offers complimentary food. And there's a special Wi-Fi room available for your use. So no matter where you purchase your car, get it serviced at Haldeman Ford, the dealership for the people on Route 33 in Hamilton Township.
Don't forget, if you miss any of your local high school sports action, you can read all about it in tomorrow's edition of the Trentonian. For your complete local and national news 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian, or online at thetrentonian.com. The only newspaper serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show here on WBCB1490.com, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center. Mike Samsel, George O'Gorman with you. And George, we call this the Mercer County Football Show, but we don't just talk about the present athletes here in Mercer County. We also talk about some of those from the past having success.
And I don't know how many of our viewers out there stayed up late Monday night to watch the end of the St. Louis Rams against San Francisco 49ers game. But the Rams had a chance to possibly get close. They needed 2 scores late in the game, and attempts a pass. And it's intercepted by Dante Johnson and run back about 25 yards for a touchdown. I don't know how many people remember. Dante Johnson was an all-star at the Pennington School.
Yeah.
And obviously he learned that interception routine from his coach, Jerry the Chief Uri, who was a pretty good defensive back in his own right when he was playing back at the University of Wyoming back in the, I guess it was early 70s, late 60s. Mm-hmm. But that was an outstanding performance for Dante, who, from what I understand, had not even been on the field the previous 3 games.
Yeah.
He did start the first game of the year for the 49ers, who've been hurt by injuries. But here was a chance for Dante Johnson to bring a lot of notoriety to the Pennington School, although they never mentioned it. He was a former standout defensive back at North Carolina State.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a good plus for Mercer County football.
Yeah, it certainly was. Some of the other results from around Mercer County this past weekend saw Bordentown defeat Robbinsville 43-12. The Ravens really struggling to find their footing. Rancocas Valley 45, Nottingham 14. Rancocas Valley, George, heading into their bye week. We saw this team. We knew heading into the season they had a chance to be pretty good, and they've really dominated the Mercer County teams they've seen so far this year.
Yeah, ironically, the first game that they played in Mercer County opened the season. They played at Trenton, and the Tornadoes drove 80 yards in about, probably like about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and scored the opening touchdown, but never got near the end zone after that. RV just put it together, and then we saw RV shut down a good Notre Dame team on I guess it was a Saturday night over at Notre Dame, and then we saw what they did last week to Nottingham, pulled away from the North Stars, and really, what was it, Bright? Was that the name of the, or Wright?
Yeah, middle linebacker, Chris Bright Jr.
And John Adams said he's the best defensive lineman I've seen all year and even last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, the kid was very good. They've got a lot of good weapons there. Jordan Sadusky's a good quarterback. Sean Bradley, excellent running back. Mm-hmm. That's a good team, and it's going to be coming down to their game in a couple of weeks against at Allentown again. It's amazing. They played 4 games of Mercer County teams, all in Mercer County. Right. That's, of course, because their field was being, had to be ripped up after they laid the turf down. And then they got the big one coming up at the end of the year with Lenape.
Mm-hmm. That should be a great one as well. We already recapped Lenape and Allentown. We also already recapped Notre Dame and Trenton. Hopewell 42-0 over Willingboro. They have Delran coming up this week. Burlington Township 41 and Lawrence 8. And unfortunately for the Cardinals, it looks like they kind of wore it last week against Burlington Township, and some are worried that the Cardinals may be coming, for lack of a better term, back down to earth a little bit.
Well, Burlington Township isn't a bad football team. Burlington Township, Hopewell Valley handled them in the opening game, but Burlington Township, had a pretty good performance, although they got beat by Northern Burlington. They had a nice effort there. Lawrence, just talking to Rick Fortenbaugh, who covered the game for the paper, Lawrence was in the game at halftime, and then they just, everything went wrong for them in the second half.
Right. Northern Burlington 28, Ewing 7, West Windsor, Plainsboro North 46, Heightstown 14. Kevin Murphy starting to put up those gaudy numbers again.
And we'll see what he can do Friday night when they head, or Friday night, when they head over to Monsignor Nolan Field to take on Notre Dame, which, it's going to be a big test not only for North but also for Notre Dame to try to get a win going there. And you mentioned the Ewing game when they play West Windsor South. Obviously, West Windsor South is winless, and that's an opportunity for Ewing to get, to get another win. But there's a big day over at Ewing High on Saturday. They will dedicate the field, saluting former coach Bruce Martz, who led Ewing to its 2 Central Jersey state championships back in the 60s. It was the 60s. I forget now because it's been so many years. But Bruce Martz was an outstanding football coach, coached at a lot of different places, coached at McCorston for a while, or St. Anthony back then, coached at Bordentown Military Institute, and then he went to Ewing, and really, that's when the Ewing program was really solid, and every year seemed to have a couple of really outstanding players. And remember the one year, Ewing went, I guess it was 10-1, lost their opening game at McCorston on a Friday night, and McCorston had lost like 30 in a row.
Right.
And they knocked off Ewing, and then Ewing went on from there, went undefeated the rest of the way, and won the state championship.
Princeton was victorious 28-14. We already talked about that game. And also Hamilton 35, West Windsor, Plainsboro South, nothing. Those were the results from this past week in Mercer County. When we come back here on the Mercer County Football Show, we will take a look at the games upcoming this week. We'll have 3 games for you in Mercer County on the WBCB Sports Network. We'll tell you about them right after this. You're watching the Mercer County Football Show, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center.
Hi, Merrill Reese to tell you about our good friends at the Revere Ristorante Italiano in nearby Ewing Township at 802 River Road. I can tell you that from South Philadelphia to New York's Mulberry Street, there's no better Italian cuisine than that served at the Revere. Start your meal with one of their great appetizers or salads. Entrees include outstanding veal dishes, fresh seafood daily, excellent steaks and chops, homemade pasta dishes, daily specials, and much more. You can also enjoy their bar area, where on most weekends, entertainment is offered. The Revere also does off-premise catering and can accommodate private parties for any affair, including business functions. Call the Revere Ristorante Italiano for more information and reservations at 609-882-6365. 882-6365. The Revere Ristorante Italiano open Monday through Friday for lunch and 7 days for dinner at 802 River Road, right off the Wilbertha Road exit on Route 29 in nearby Ewing Township.
Jerry Blavitt here to tell you about St. Francis Medical Center, the heart hospital in the city of Trenton. St. Francis Medical Center is one of the region's top cardiac care centers, serving all of Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties. Their staff of highly trained physicians provide state-of-the-art heart care to patients with cardiovascular disease and pride themselves as being the only regional heart center to offer a full spectrum of individualized services. And Consumer Report ranks St. Francis Medical Center in the top 10 hospitals in New Jersey for safety, and the #1 hospital in Mercer County, St. Francis Medical Center, the Heart Hospital.